Namaskar, everyone. I'm Ashit Desai, and I welcome all of you to this episode of Khel Vishwa. It's a world of sports brought to you by the Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center at the Consulate General of India, Durban, and which is in South Africa. And it's my privilege to be part of this fifth episode of this amazing series of Khel Vishwa. Today, we're joined by Dr. Chaitanya Prakash Yogi ji, who's the director of Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center. We also have our sporting personality and a very special guest, Miss Nicole Mogondo, with us today. A very special person. He's going to be chatting with Miss Nicole, and that's Mr. Khayelihle Nkabinde ji. Not to forget two more members of our Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center, and first one being Mr. Spive Mkunu, and we have also Mr. Piyush Khandelwal joining us today. Thank you for present in this program, and I've had an opportunity to join for the very first time, but I'm looking forward to it and very, very excited about it as well. So in today's program, we have Mr. Khayelihle, who's going to be talking, who is a sports enthusiast, and he's going to be talking to Miss Nicole. And just to give you a brief background about Miss Nicole, she is a netball coach in South Africa and at the Mboma Sports Foundation. Amazing, amazing personality. You know, we have just concluded celebrations and paying respects to all the ladies and celebrating Women's Month. And here's another example of an amazing, amazing human being, a woman contributing so immensely into the world of sports. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you another exceptional woman in sports, and who has made a very significant contributions towards the development of it as well. Miss Nicole has done her BA in sports management. She's PGCE, sports developer and educator, and also she's been a avid sports player as well. She's been playing basketball and netball, I believe. So it's exciting for me. I'm really looking forward to this amazing, amazing conversation that we're going to be having today. And with that being said, I'm going to hand over to Mr. Khayelihle ji, and so over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the warm introduction. Nicole, it's a pleasure to be meeting you and having this conversation with you. So first of all, Nicole, I just want to start off, what inspired you to take up netball as a sport, and how long have you been practicing the sport of netball?
Morning all, thank you for having me today. So what inspired me to take up netball? Basically, I went to a very sporty primary school, and netball was one of the most attractive sports, especially like being a young girl from Pretoria. I guess they roped me in, and I've been playing ever since primary school. And then your second question.
So my second question is, how long have you been playing netball for? And yeah.
Okay, cool. So I've been playing netball since 2005, since I was in grade 5. So that's about how many years?
It's like a decade.
Yeah, it's been a bit of time, yeah.
Okay, cool. So it's, all we know, like in sports, there's a lot of challenges people come across playing sports, and especially for like young individuals as well. I just want to find out, within your industry in netball, what challenges did you face as a woman in the field of netball and also in coaching as well?
So basically, obviously, netball is like the #1 sport for females in South Africa. Next to netball comes athletics, I would say, then probably swimming. So in as much as it's the sport for females, sport of choice for females, we compete with major sports like rugby and soccer. So some of the stuff might be the attraction and funding. And, being a female athlete is not like the most desirable or most popular thing, because people rather say go do teaching, nursing, medicine, accounting, the more traditional sporting careers, as opposed to being a female athlete. So it's just getting that exposure, getting that type of funding, getting that type of support within the school or within your region, government, whatever it is. So those are some of the challenges. And then other challenges might include like females getting females to be more discipline because, they'll rather, for example, go to a birthday party, whatever it is, as opposed to like training 3 times or even 6 times a week, twice a day, that type of thing. So those are the challenges we face.
And then, so it's like, from the next question, it's just gonna be a more personal question. Has netball shaped you more internally as a person, or was it a way to transform externally strong as a person?
So it's a bit of both because netball is very challenging. Like it's not a complicated game per se. It requires a fair amount of skill, so forth, but more than anything, it requires like that will to compete, that drive, as well as discipline, because it's very fast paced. You're constantly going up and down the court for 10 minutes or 15 minutes at a time each quarter, and then you can't give up at any point in time. So mentally, you have to be incredibly strong, because if you give up and if you don't have that will to compete, you'll cause turnovers. So that's one aspect in terms of the mental. And then physical, you also need to be like physically extremely strong, so forth. So it's both, it's a mind situation as well as a physical situation. It's a very stimulating sport because it's constant, it's high pace, it's lots of action, lots of intensity. Yeah.
Oh, thanks so much. I can just imagine that because whenever I watch netball, like apparently there's no time to rest. You're just basically running up and down and stuff like that. And then my next question would be like, what are the benefits of practicing netball, and how can one transform themselves as an individual within the sport of netball?
So the benefits, obviously, like I said, that mental, that discipline, that will to win, will to compete, will to push yourself beyond. So those are obviously like the benefits, as well as like the physical. Obviously, like you'll be fit, you healthy body, healthy mind, all that good stuff, health as well. So yeah, literally. And then, but it's also about teamwork. It's about putting yourself out there, that social interaction. And I think more than anything, netball builds confidence. So I think that's very big and very important about netball. Such a good aspect. It builds confidence.
Yeah, I can just imagine how much confidence you've actually gotten since you started since 2005. And just when you found out, since you started in 2005, I'm sure there's a lot of stories you can tell us and a lot of experiences. And my next question could be like, can you share some experiences along the journey of the netball career up to now since 2005? Like, what's the most experience you can tell us? And just tell us a few since 2005. What's the highlights you've been able to say for?
Okay, so some of my highlights have been, I had a great primary school team. Everything was great. Some of the girls got scholarships to different high schools, so forth. I didn't land a scholarship because I'm actually not from South Africa, but that's okay. And then in high school, I thought we were like a decent team. I thought we were great. Obviously, I didn't make the A team for the under 14 high school team. So obviously I was bummed. I quit netball. Actually, I crossed over to basketball. I know. I crossed over to basketball where I made the under 14 team. So my focus then shifted from netball to basketball. And I played basketball throughout. I actually played basketball at a semi-professional level now. And then netball I play as like my recreational, my downtime. I want to just relax and just like feel less pressure. I go for netball for the most social aspect. But in me playing basketball, it helped a lot in my netball, because when I go for different coaching clinics or training clinics, whatever it is, people always tell me you should play netball. You're such a good netball player. You could play professionally. You could even play for the national team. So it's just that there's been a turning point in terms of my playing style, my discipline, and my understanding of the game, which has then helped me for my coaching. So I've taken my coaching to the next level in terms of netball, not necessarily my playing, although everyone keeps on roping me back in. So then my coaching highlights have been to see the girls in my previous school that I worked at. They had never had a girl make a district team. Now we have girls making district team, and now soon they'll make provincials. So it's just like those have been some of my highlights, that I had to take a step back as a player and then develop myself as a coach and add both aspects of netball and basketball to developing highly competitive and successful athletes.
Yeah, that's a mouthful. Thank you so much for that. I like the fact how you understood that, the fact that even though you wanted to quit when age of 14, you decided to start another sport, which is basketball, and you managed to just put everything into one. And then my next question, we're trying to put you in the corner right now. I hope you feel no pressure. What challenges did you face? Because I know as sportsmen and sportswomen as well, you guys come across so many challenges. It could be as a female in sports, it could be basketball, netball. What challenge did you just face along your whole career, and also as a coach? I know that as a coach, you have to understand your players and just managing them and just managing yourself. What challenges did you come across?
Where to begin? There are so many challenges. Like, wow, I can't even it's a lot. But you know what? Sometimes it's not about you and what you're facing. It's literally about the players and the team that you're working with. So some of the challenges I might face is like, okay, I'm fairly on the young side. I don't have major accolades in terms of netball. So when you walk into a room, people are already like, who are you? What are you doing here? Type of situation. So it's just like having those accolades, it's having that experience, having that develop your own profile and your name, your brand, whatever it is, for people to really recognize you when you step into the room. Because netball, in as much as like a lot of people play netball, it's a very small community. So already when someone walks in, everyone's like, yo, that's Bongim somewhere. Like, it's name dropping type of thing. So it's that. It's also, it's just building your own name, creating your own name for you to be able to get the type of support you want, to have access to courts, for example. And then I'm going to bring it back and say, in terms of my team specifically, the Mboma Foundation team that I'm helping out and coaching at, our challenge is that the girls are from the Gasi. They're not necessarily your privileged girls. So, for example, it's how do you get parents who are already underprivileged to support their kids to come to training, to give them food to come to training? How do we get transport for them? How do we get facilities for them? Although we have a training facility, we train on grass at Alex Park. And then it's how do you get equipment? How do you get kit? All those different type of challenges, knowing that the girls are from privileged backgrounds and sports isn't a priority in their households. It's obviously to find other ways to generate income. So I think that's like the major challenge in terms of where I'm currently coaching at Mboma Foundation, given that it's a foundation that is not well established, like your Bill Gates Foundation, for example.
But hopefully we'll get there to the Bill Gates Foundation one day. My next question could be like, whoever's listening to this interview right now, what advice do you give to any youngster who's listening to right now, who wants to take the career into netball and are looking to play netball as a professional sport? What advice could you give them from the early young age to anyone who's listening to this right now? What advice could you just give them about netball and just take career in netball?
Definitely you reap what you sow. So if you put in the work, but it's quality training, not just training for the fun of training. It's how you pass the ball, how you catch the ball, how you jump, how you score, how you defend. Literally, if you put in effort, you will be rewarded for your efforts, because there are many opportunities in netball. Some of them might be as small as playing in a tournament and winning prize money. Others might be playing in a professional team. Others might even be playing overseas in a professional team or coaching your own team. There are many different opportunities and avenues in netball, even becoming a national umpire, and then you get paid like 400 Rand per game or 200 Rand per game, so forth. So there really are many opportunities, but you have to put in the work. You have to be willing to also study. It's not just about playing. You have to, like, netball's very structured and organized. You write exams, you take tests, you get graded, you do practical exams, so forth. So you have to be willing to put in the academic work as well as the physical work, and then also gym is important. Like, it's not just going, if you want to be a professional athlete, you have to do it, or you have to read, you have to physically work out, you have to be mentally fit, so forth. So you reap what you sow. What you put in is what you get out. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nicole, for that. I'm hoping whoever's listening right now do take your advice and they just conquer that. My last question, Nicole, it is something that I always look up to. Hopefully you can tell us more about this. What inspires you and motivates you to continue playing netball and just continue loving the sports of netball? What motivates you and what inspires you to continue with the sports?
So what I think continues to motivate me to continue playing netball, specifically for me, is that it's my form of relaxation, because it's not my number one, my second love. But it's obviously seeing my teammates, the joy they get out of it, as well as helping other people improve their craft, improve their skill. So that's really just I think I'm a selfless person, so I enjoy seeing other people happy and thriving, so forth. So definitely that aspect, and just seeing people develop, because netball, if you put in the work, you quickly develop, and then you develop that self-confidence that is key to any person's success. So definitely like the teamwork, seeing my teammates happy, and that self-confidence going from 0 to 100 real quick. Yeah.
No, Nicole, thank you so much. I was actually honored to be speaking to you today, and actually gained a lot as well about netball itself and the challenges people go through. And I'm hoping whoever's listening to this do take advice and are inspired by you. And thank you so much, Nicole. It's a pleasure.
No. Thank you so much for having me. Keep doing the amazing job. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Nicole.
Keep well.
Thank you very much for that. It was an amazing conversation to be part of. I actually learned so much about netball that I didn't know before, and so much goes into it. So yeah, absolutely amazing to be a part of this episode. For me, it's the first time, like I said at the start of this program, of being a part of Khel Vishwa, World of Sports. And this is brought to you by the Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center and at the Consulate General of India in Durban, South Africa. Thank you very much to all the guests for being present for this. And now I hand this over to Mr. P.V. Mkuno for the vote of thanks. Namaste.
Before I start my vote of thanks remarks, I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome Ashit Desai for joining this wonderful program called Vishwa, the World of Sport. You are welcome, sir. Thank you very much. Now I'm starting my vote of thanks. Namaskar, greetings to all of you. On behalf of Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center at the Consulate General of India in Durban, it gives me a great pleasure to deliver a vote of thanks on episode 5 of the program, Khel Vishwa, World of Sport. Allow me to thank our online guest. Firstly, I will start with Miss Nicole Mangado. She is a netball coach, and the stories that she narrated today regarding the netball, you know, in my mind, it was like netball is throwing the ball to one and on and on and on and on. But when she said it takes a lot of, you know, muscle and a lot of hardship, you know, now I understand. I was just seeing the girls going on the left, going on the right. Now I understand they are on the mission. So what she narrated this evening, I like to say, thank you, ma'am. Now we have the sense of what is netball about. Secondly, allow me to thank Mr. Khayelihle Nkabinde, a sport enthusiast, for making sure that the interactions with Nicole Mogondo went very well. To Khayelihle, as always, thank you very much. Siyabonga kakhulu baba ngokwenzile. To Director of Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center, Dr. Chaitanya Prakash Yogi, Ashit Desai, thank you for welcoming remarks. Lastly, to Mr. Piyush Kandelwal, To all our online participants, I'd like to say thank you very much for taking time with us. And also you are kindly advised to visit ICCR Devon Facebook page for all cultural activities organized by Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center in Devon. Once again, to Nicole G and Khayelihle G, Dhanyavad for taking part on today's program. To all of you, once again, have a wonderful evening. Namaskar.